out the front, whereas the first shot or second shot came here and came out right about the areola, which is the nipple area, about this area right here. Okay, so I'm also going to play a recording, and I want to show you the corruption behind the Pine Bluff Police Department. And I want to tell you all, for those of you who are watching, if you have a case, especially a homicide case, that's being worked by either of these detectives, you may want to ask for a new detective, because I don't trust either one of them, because I'm going to show you the trickery and the lies that they use to try to persuade the witness regarding her testimony. In other words, she shouldn't believe her lying eyes. I've got that recording as well, and I'm going to play it for you in just a moment. It says, let's see here. Let me find my spot. It says, evidence of Maurice Taggart's injuries included a gunshot entrance wound located on the medial right back. The exit wound was located immediately adjacent to the medial surface of the right chest area near the areola, which is the breast area. The second gunshot entrance was located on the proximal posterior medial right underarm, just lateral to the upper right axial. It traveled through soft tissues of the right shoulder and exited at the front. Autopsy examination revealed 2 gunshot wounds. Neither of these 2 wounds were associated with surrounding evidence of close-range discharge. Let me tell you what that means. I kind of hit on it last night. This is a gun. Let's say, I want to call out somebody's name. Let's just say Miss Deborah Frazier. You and I are in a tussle. You pull out a gun, and we're fighting. You pull out that gun, and you shoot me. Say you shoot me 3 times. Here, here, and say here. Well, there will be evidence of stippling. Stippling is gunpowder or gunshot residue. It's like a spray. I have 3 spots on me. None of that was present on Maurice Taggart's clothing nor his body. None of that was present. It says, neither of these 2 wounds were associated with surrounding evidence of close-range discharge. That right there. So let me ask you a question. That right there dispels Justice Taggart's statement. It dispels her statement, as well as the prosecuting attorney's statement. So let me ask you all this question. Who are you going to believe? Cal Hunter, Denise Richardson, Justice Taggart, or 3 professional medical examiners? Let that marinate for a second. We know these 3 people have told the public one thing, but the medical professionals are telling us something different. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm making this up. Let me flip this camera around. I want you all to see this. Right here it says, autopsy examination revealed 2 gunshot wounds. Neither of these 2 wounds were associated with surrounding evidence of close-range discharge, the examiner said in the report. Going into further detail, the examiner said the more serious, let's read that. I got that right here. I think I put it on my camera, so let me share that with you. Let me turn this light off. The medical examiner said, check this out. The more serious wound was the one that entered at mid-back, just to the right of the spine. From there, it traveled forward and upward to the right, It passed through the posterior right chest wall, the right part of the diaphragm, the liver, and the right lower lung lobe. The projectile, which is the bullet, exited, means came out the right front of the chest. Check this out. No bullets or bullet fragments were recovered. Skin surfaces around the wound were without, what did I say earlier? This is the autopsy report. Maurice's skin surfaces around the wound were without gross smoke, powder, or stippling. Let that marinate for a second. Sean Lee, if you like, we got to get you off here because you being very rude and disrespectful. And guess what? I don't play that. So here's the thing. You have the medical examiner stating in the autopsy report that there was no stippling, no powder, no burns around Maurice's wounds. So if you meditate on that just for a second, it's clearly stating, we were told initially by the chief of police, as well as Cal Hunter, that was his conclusion, that Maurice and Justice were fighting over a gun. It was just those two people, right? Keep this in mind. Those two people were struggling over a gun, and Maurice shot Justice. Justice, in turn, took the gun from Maurice and shot Maurice Taggart. Wow. I'm trying to get this person off because they're trying to be a distraction, and we don't have time for that mess. We don't. We don't. But here's my thing. That's what the chief of police announced the morning of August 30th. They struggled over a gun. They fought. Justice took the gun from Maurice and shot Maurice, and no charges will be filed. Just keep this in your head, okay? So you have all this going on, yet the professionals that do this for a living states that there was no powder burns or stippling on Maurice Taggart's body. Once again, who are you going to believe? The people here in Pine Bluff or the professionals who are independent and don't have a dog in the fight? Don't have a dog in the fight. Let's carry on, you all, okay? Let's stay focused and let's just carry on, all right? Let me get my phone here and share another piece of information with you. It says, according to the report, the wound path through the chest caused internal hemorrhage, which is bleeding, and collapse of the right lung. The other round entered the body at the back of the right upper arm near the axilla. That's the axilla, just so you all know. When you see that word, that's near or below the armpit area. So it's saying the bullet entered this section right here, and the projectile came out this section, okay? The axilla is underneath this, having to do with the armpit, underneath that area, okay? So let's continue reading on. It says, entered the body at the back of the right upper arm near the axilla. From this point of entry, it traveled upward, just like I said, and forward through the upper arm and shoulder. It exited the top of the right shoulder. No bullets or bullet fragments were recovered. Skin surfaces around the wound were, again, without gross smoke, powder, or stippling. So, let me break that down for you all. Let's show you this right here. Maurice was hit. One bullet came out near this area here, near the areola or nipple area. Other bullet came out right here. He was hit in the lower, mid back to the right of his spine and underneath the armpit in this section right here. Now, The bullets that entered his body and went through his body, I mean, we're talking about some major damage. There's no stippling on his clothing, on his person, nor on his skin. So the gunshots that hit his body were from a distance. They were not up close. So whomever had the gun at the time, which is alleged to be Justice, they lied. They lied. While you're peering at Maurice's picture, I want you all to understand what it's like to asphyxiate or suffocate. For those of you who are watching, do me a quick favor. Put your hand over your mouth, just for a second, and pinch your nose. The difference is that Maurice's mouth nor his nose were impeded. Once a bullet or something strikes the lung, it collapses. So you're no longer having air come into that lung. It's being filled with blood. Hence why he was so bloody. He was bleeding out. When I tell you the man died a slow, agonizing, painful death, even people on death row, when they get the death penalty, they put you to sleep or they put you in an electric chair and they inject the serum or the potent medicine that kills you. Maurice Taggart died a very, very slow, agonizing, and painful death. He drowned in his own blood. No one rendered aid. No one rendered aid to Maurice Taggart. Now, the medical examiner said the only other injuries noted in the report on Maurice Taggart's body were superficial abrasions on the back surfaces of his elbow. That's when he fell. The back of his elbow. Abrasions or scratches. He had scratches on his elbows. That's it. It says Justice Taggart's injuries were also noted in the case file. The crime scene tech, let me show you this. It says the crime scene tech noted this right here. So let me post this for you guys because I want you to be able to see it, okay? Notice what the crime scene tech stated about Justice Taggart's injuries. It said there were 2 apparent bullet holes which were photographed while Justice Taggart was being treated at JRMC, the emergency room. Pictures show a bullet wound on the right side of his chest toward the middle, a few inches away from his neckline. So let me show you that. So I've got the actual images coming, but we're going to use this for now. See this spot right here? See this spot right here? I drew a line because that's where his neckline begins, about right here. Notice what the professional, the crime scene technician said. A bullet wound on the right side of his chest toward the middle, a few inches away from his neckline. Be about right there. Another bullet wound is located on his right side between his chest and stomach. Right side, about right there. Now, I want you all to keep this fact in mind. When Maurice was shot, projectile came out of here. Projectile came out of here. Okay? Quick question. Are you all picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm going to say it like this: with family members like that, who needs enemies? It says the crime scene technician also photographed an injury to Maurice Taggart's left knee. The photo shows a bloody abrasion. However, this injury was not noted on the crime lab report. Now, I want to read the witness statement, and then I'm going to break that down because I've got the actual video and recording. But listen to this. From the 911 calls made by a neighbor. Let's play that recording first before I go any further with that, okay? This is the first witness that calls 911. Listen to this. Now, y'all heard, right? The witness said there were some people fighting. Now, the witness came forward to another law enforcement agent. Now, let me ask you all something. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure out what I'm about to tell you. Now, the Pine Bluff Police Department, I want somebody to type it because I want to see if we're all on the same page. The Pine Bluff Police Department has jurisdiction over what city? What area? What is the Pine Bluff? Where and what is Pine Bluff Police Department's jurisdiction? Where's the jurisdiction? Does anyone know? I'm leading up to something. Takara Gentry, thank you. She says Pine Bluff. Thank you, my dear sister. Next question. Where or what is the jurisdiction for the Jefferson County Sheriff Department? What is the jurisdiction for the Jefferson County Sheriff Department? Alexander Brown says Jefferson County. Right again. Benita, right again. Thank you all. Last question. What jurisdiction does the Arkansas State Police have? What jurisdiction does the Arkansas State Police have? I'm waiting for the answer. What jurisdiction does the Arkansas State Police have? Arkansas State Police. What jurisdictions does the Arkansas State... Thank you, Brother Michael Dancy said the state. That is correct. So, Pine Bluff Police Department covers the city of Pine Bluff. They cannot work county because it's outside of their precinct, outside of this jurisdiction. The county, Jefferson County, can only work Jefferson County. The state covers the entire state of Arkansas. I said that for a reason because now... Let me show you something. I want you to listen to this. Now, this is the witness that came forward. Now, keep in mind, this witness did not come forward initially because they saw, because of what Chief Richardson did the morning of Maurice's murder. his death. She said Justice Taggart would not be charged justifiable homicide. So the witness was like, well, that's not what I saw. So in turn, the witness went to an Arkansas State Police investigator, which is Oscar Bullard. She went to him. He interviewed her the same day. Tell me why it took the Pine Bluff Police Department 2 whole weeks before they started interviewing the witnesses. Yet the witnesses were standing around outside the morning of the homicide. We all heard the 911 tape released shortly after the murder, right? We all knew this. So why did it take the detectives, Keith Banks, Stephen Rucker, 2 weeks? Took them 2 weeks. Don't you know when you have a homicide, a crime scene, you round everybody up. I wouldn't give a damn if it takes 10 hours. They don't leave. You take them to the station. You put them in each interrogation room and you question them. You get the answers that you need to ascertain to be able to solve the crime, to solve the situation. Pine Bluff Police Department didn't do that. They waited 2 weeks. Now, I want you to hear how Sergeant Rucker and Keith Banks tried to play this woman. When I say corruption at its finest, lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. So they tried to make the woman not believe what she saw. Ain't that a kick in the head? So let me play the initial video. Some of you may find this disturbing, but you need to see. Okay? You need to see this. Now, the first officers on the scene were Officers John Woods Jr. and Philip Meacham. So let's flip this around. I want you all to see this. Some of you may find this very disturbing, but you need to see it. Okay? Y'all need to see this. Let me start it over right about there. Right there. Police, come on, put your hands up. Come on, put your hands out. How about police? You got a gun, drop it. Now, let me stop that. Many of you did not see Maurice in that video, did you? What if I told you Maurice is in the video? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to show you Maurice Taggart. Let's take it back, okay? Let's go back again. I'll show you Maurice. I'm getting sick to my stomach looking at this picture, so let me remove it. I don't want to throw up on this live. So, let me take it back. I want you all to see something. Slow it down. Let me stop it. Take it back. Let me zoom in. There's Maurice Taggart sitting on the stoop. Right there. Let me get out of here and show you an enlarged image. Maurice was sitting on the stoop. Right there. Justice is over here to the right. Back door is over here. That's Maurice sitting right there. Let me show you a better view of that. Let me show you a better view. That's the back porch. That's the patio. Let me also show you where Maurice was sitting in relation to the back porch. I want you all to see this. Just give me a second. I'm about to pull it up. Okay. Justice was over here by this rose bush, this one here. Maurice was sitting right there. See, the police came from the other side of the house. They came off Hillcroft instead of Stevens. If they came down Stevens Road, they would have seen him right there. Maurice was sitting right there on that stoop. So let me take you back to the video. You watch it again. And you'll see Maurice Taggart sitting on the stoop. Okay? Let's take it back. Trying to get this bad boy to play. Here we go. Right here. Look to the right. They came on Hillcroft instead of Stevens.
Come on, put your hands out. Call by police. You got a gun, drop it.
Did y'all see Maurice? He's sitting right there on the stoop. Let me zoom in. Maurice was wearing the red shirt. You see Shatil Johnson coming around the corner? See her? Now, I want to play something for you guys. So I'm going to give y'all another 13, 14 minutes before I conclude, and we'll resume tomorrow night. But I want you to hear this. Now, I took a picture of the country club. I went to Google Maps, and I took a picture of the country club. And what I would like to do is show you all the country club, because you need to know that. You need to know something. There's a country club right there. Let me flip it around. Pine Bluff Country Club. Okay? Country Club Lane. There's a blue line that I put on the map. Do y'all see that blue line? Let me zoom in a little bit more. Country Club. I want to show you the distance from the country club to Maurice Taggart's house. Look. Hillcroft. First house on the corner. Maurice Taggart's. Because right here is Stevens Street. Maurice Taggart's house is here. Blue line. According to this information, Lord Franklin is about 3 minutes from this area. And Lafayette Woods is about 15 minutes, 13 to 15 minutes from that area, something like that. Y'all see that right there? His house is right, let me use this pen. His house is right here. Country club is right here. Now here's a fact. The sheriff has been known to frequent the country club because he's played golf at the country club. Yet, on the 911 call, let me play what Charles White said the night in question, or morning in questions. He acted like he was lost. He says, Did y'all hear that? He wanted to know the location of the country club. Let me play that again. Just listen. Really? Country club? Maurice Taggers' house. Look. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? This man said it's Hillcroft near the country club. If you walk out of Maurice Taggers' house and go about 200 yards down the street, you will be on the golf course. It's just that freaking close. It's just that close. He said, is it near the country club? I want you to hear this as well. Since Justice claimed to love his father so much, I want you to hear what he said to his girlfriend, Shatia Johnson. Listen. And to top it off, this is what he said about Maurice. Listen again. He says, F that B. Now, I want to play for you and just show you why that's important. Let me play what the witness said that saw everything. So let me play that. This is the witness 911 call. I think I've played that. So let's play what the interview between Sergeant Rucker and Sergeant Detective Keith Banks. Listen to this. Let me stop it. Did you all hear what Rucker said? This is what he told the witness. He says, you talked to Agent Bullock, right? She said, yes. He's not supposed to be involved. He's out of his jurisdiction. Remember 5 minutes ago I asked you what jurisdiction does the Pine Bluff Police Department have? Many of you posted Pine Bluff. What jurisdiction does the county have? Many of you posted Jefferson County. And I asked you, what jurisdiction does the Arkansas State Police have? Y'all said Arkansas. Why would he sit there and lie to this woman and tell her that he was out of his jurisdiction? Don't talk to him anymore, talk to me. She went to Bullard first because she felt integrity. And after Denise Richardson announced the morning of Maurice's body was still warm, that no charges would be filed. That's why they reached out to Bullard. Bullard never contacted the witnesses. The witnesses sought him out because he lives in the same vicinity that Maurice Taggart lived in. So let me read this before I play that tape. It says, from the 911 calls made by a neighbor, Maurice Taggart's wife, Chandra Taggart, and Shatia Johnson, Justice Taggart's girlfriend, to follow up interviews done by police. The recordings displayed panic, concern, and hysteria. Beginning with the eyewitnesses, witness 1 was interviewed by Pine Bluff Police Department Detective Sergeant Stephen Rucker and Detective Keith Banks. Check this out. I want to just tell y'all, I'm going to let you all see this. Look at when they interviewed this woman. Now, the homicide happened August the 30th. When was she interviewed? September 14th, 2023. Look, 2 weeks after the shooting took place. Isn't that bad police work? It said the witness was brought in for questioning after her statement was collected by Arkansas State Police agent Oscar Bullard, who lives in the neighborhood. Bullard was called by a different witness who heard gunshots. See that? According to phone records of Maurice Taggart's phone, a neighbor in the group message wrote they heard gunshots 3 different times in about 2 to 3 minutes. Another person replied that 2 people had been shot at the Taggart. Detectives, however, told the witness that she should not have spoken to Bullard because he was way out of his jurisdiction and interfering with the investigation. So let's play that. So I don't want y'all to just say, well, Mark Cannon said so-and-so, so-and-so. Let's play it again. Hold on. My question to you all who's watching, do you see how Rucker and Banks keep lying to this witness? They've said it at least 3 times. You weren't supposed to talk to him. He's out of his jurisdictions. He's interfering with our investigation. The reason why it took the prosecutor 10 months to tell us the same thing that the chief of police said the morning of justifiable homicide. The reason it took so long is because of agent investigator Oscar Bullard's report. Other than that, they would have closed this man's case and that would have been the end of it. Had it not been for Agent Bullard and for that man to keep sitting there lying, saying he was out of his jurisdiction. And we all know the Arkansas State Police can make an arrest or traffic stop in any county in the state of Arkansas. This says, the witness said they talked to Bullard because they and others in the neighborhood didn't think the police department was thoroughly investigating the case since Police Chief Denise Richardson had, just hours after the incident, stated publicly that Justice Taggart would not be arrested. According to the crime scene log, Bullard arrived on the scene at 2:35 a.m. on September 12, 2023. He gave the detectives 2 statements from eyewitnesses. Now you got a state police that's giving the Pine Bluff Police Department statements from 2 witnesses who saw and heard what went on. Yet it took the police department 15 days to interview the witnesses. Common sense would have told you, you heard the 911 call. Everyone heard the woman on the phone saying what she had witnessed. People fighting, rolling on the ground, fighting, 3 males and a female. But then the prosecutor in turns dismisses 2 credible, upstanding, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. 2 white women. When have you ever known that to be? In a homicide. So what does that say about us, especially people of color? It says, in the incident, in the included video, I've got videos coming as well, the witness, who Rucker noted had a clear view of the crime scene from their house said they were up watching TV when they heard a gunshot and then yelling around 2:10 a.m. The witness said they didn't remember hearing anything before the gunshot. The witness told police they got up and immediately went to the window where she saw 3 men and a woman. 3 men and a woman. The witness stated the men were on the ground wrestling and struggling, trying to restrain the man in the red shirt, which was Maurice Taggart. So who is this mystery man that they were trying to restrain? That's Shateel Johnson. Here, there's Maurice Taggart sitting on the stoop right there in the red shirt. In the red shirt. The witness told police they immediately got up. Anyway, let me go on. The witness said the men then, the witness stated the men were on the ground wrestling and struggling, trying to restrain the man in the red shirt who turned out to be Maurice Taggart. The witness said the men then stood up and they were still struggling. And every now and then, the woman, identified by police as Shateel Johnson, would try to grab an arm in an apparent effort to break up the fight. The witness said they heard someone yell, "Stop it!" and that the people struggled with one another for a minute or two. The witness then said there was another gunshot, and then some 20 seconds later, another gunshot. At that point, the witness said they separated. Justice went and sat down beside the shrub, and Maurice walked around on the patio for a minute, and then he sat down on the steps. I just showed you the picture of Maurice sitting down. It seems as if he was injured. But he certainly didn't look like he was mortally wounded. The witness said he didn't act like, "Oh my gosh, I need help." The witness said the man in the white shirt, listen to me, the man in the white shirt, the half-naked man, took off his shirt and put it on top of Justice Taggart. He wasn't giving him first aid. The witness continued, he wasn't applying pressure or anything, and then pretty soon after that, the police came. Rucker, apparently curious about the third male, asked the witness if they saw where he went. "No," the witness stated, adding that they thought he was still there when the police arrived. "I didn't see him want to offer anything." The witness stated they never saw Chandra Taggart from their angle. "I don't think she came outside ever," said the witness. The witness said that when the 3 men were fighting, Justice Taggart, check this out, Justice Taggart was facing the witness's house, and the other 2 men were in front of Maurice Taggart on his right side, struggling with him. The witness stated all 3 men were fighting at the same time. Everyone says he was shot in the back, and I really don't know how that happened, because if he had the gun, I think it would have been in front of him, said the witness to the detectives. "I never saw anybody step back and go like this." The witness then proceeded to extend her right arm with her hand shaped like a gun, demonstrating to the detectives, "I don't know where the gun was." A second witness was interviewed on September the 15th. A second witness was interviewed on September the 15th. That's 17 days later. According to their statement, the witness looked out the window and saw one police car outside and an unknown black male wearing blue shorts and no shirt standing to the left of the house in the front of the yard pacing. The witness stated when they looked back outside, they saw the black male with a dark colored blanket over him and 2 more police cars at the residence. The witness described the male as black, of average height, in his 40s with a short afro hairstyle. Other witness statements in the case file include one from Bullard that was submitted to Rucker on October 2nd. Bullard stated that at about 2:19 a.m., he received a phone call from a neighbor who was awakened by gunshots. And that, according to the neighbor, there was then a pause of 1 to 2 minutes, at which time the neighbor heard more gunshots. Bullard said in his report that he told the neighbor he would check into it. Bullard stated he called the Mecca non-emergency number regarding gunshots and overheard in the backyard of the dispatcher's phone that a police officer said he had arrived at Hillcroft Street and that bodies were on the ground. Bullard wrote that he received another call from the same neighbor around 2:26 a.m. that police and ambulance were at the Taggart's house. Bullard then arrived a short time later at the house in an unmarked police unit. Upon his arrival, in between the carport and the house, he said he saw Justice Taggart and Johnson on the ground near the bushes, and it appeared that Shonda Taggart was trying to assist Johnson off the ground. This is the pregnant woman now. Bullard stated that Shonda Taggart looked up at him while on the ground and said, "I was going to call you." He asked, "How many people were hit?" And she replied, 2. Bullard's statement goes on to describe what he saw while assisting, including police officers assisting Maurice Taggart while he was on the ground, Justice Taggart being loaded onto a gurney by paramedics, and the presence of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Criminal Investigation Division, the Special Response Team, and the K-9 deputy. Bullard also notes that he ran into Sheriff Lafayette Woods Jr. near the driveway and carport and asked him what was going on. Woods, according to Bullard, said he knew something was going to happen. Woods had been dealing with Maurice Taggart since 4 p.m. the previous day because Shonda Taggart had called him about Maurice threatening her. Woods said he had been talking to prosecuting attorney Cal Hunter to see if Maurice Taggart's bond in the urban renewal case could be revoked so he could get him some help. Body camera footage at 3:24:37 shows Detective Chris Wheeling talking to Sheriff Woods, who said he had 2 missed calls from Shonda Taggart around 2:26 a.m. Woods said he immediately called her back and that she asked him to send officers. According to Woods, he said, "She called me and all I heard was arguing and commotion in the background, and I knew then it was bad. I got 2 missed calls at 2:26 a.m. and then at 2:27 I called back and I was like, what's going on?" And she was like, "Please send the officers here." She said it was Jay, her son, and Maurice Taggart. "I'm on the phone with dispatch trying to get someone over here," and she calls back and she is more hysterical and she says, "He's shot." Question: why did the prosecuting attorney dismiss the third man? Why did the Pine Bluff Police Department Chief of Police and Detectives Rucker and Banks dismiss the third man? Why? 2 upstanding citizens, white women, told the police what they saw, and yet Cal Hunter dismisses it. It's leading me to believe that the parties involved have something over Cal Hunter's head, that he would dismiss a third person who was there at the scene fighting with Maurice. I want you all to tune in tomorrow night for part 3. I want to leave you with this before I conclude the evening. I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth. Doesn't get any better than this. Give me just a moment.